What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Once again, I'm telling you to stand with Bennett. I'm asking you. I'm not telling you. I'm asking you to stand with Bennett College. If you can give anything, $5, $10, $20, the donation information will be in the link. We need to raise $5 million by February 1st, and we are a little over 3 million. So every little bit helps you guys. Anyway. This is your review of Love and Marriage, Season 1, Episode 3. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm really liking this show. But there were some things this episode that confused me a little bit. It confused me. Let me say this before I get started. There was some, well, it wasn't some, it was just one comment made about me messing up people's names and how I need to go back and look at my notes again, and I need to... Let me say this to you. I thought I said it in the video that I was getting the names mixed up, and so I apologized during the video that I messed up names. I know I messed up names. I know it. We got Marcel, Martell, Melody. We got Scott and Scott. It's a lot. It's a new show. It's a lot of names. So I'm sorry. It's no disrespect to anybody. Charge it to my head, not my heart. All right, let's go. So we start this episode off with the comeback group having a meeting about, now they have the land, they've cleared the land, and they're trying to come up with a price point that that the Holts are going to charge the group in order to build these homes. Now, before we get to the business, we got to deal with some minutia. And the minutia is the bridal shower. Now, Melody said that she was uninvited to the bridal shower when she went to RSVP. She found out that her name was no longer on the guest list, and when she reached out to Tisha, who was one of the hostesses, for the for the bridal shower, Tisha said, "Oh, well, somebody will be in touch with you about that." I don't know how I feel about that story. It's too elaborate of a story for some of it not to necessarily be true. I can't see Melanie making up a lie, being that specific and using specific names if part of that was not true. However, glitches happen all the time when you do a Evite or any type of listserv, constant contact, whatever. Things happen. We know that they are always glitches. So the fact that you were invited to the event, and then when you went back to RSVP it said you were no longer on the list, it was probably some sort of glitch or problem. If these people are your friends like you say they're your friends, first of all, I probably would have been helping to plan the party or asking if I could get there early to help y'all set up or whatever the situation might be. Second of all, even if that had happened, I would have reached out and said, look, girl, what? Girl, you better know I'm going to be at that daggone party, and you better go on and just tell me where it is and what time to be there and all that good stuff. But Melody was like, I didn't know where it was. I didn't know what time it started or anything. And I just feel like on both ends, more could have been done to make sure that Melody went. But Melody, when you didn't hear back from this person you were supposed to hear back from, I feel like at that time you could have reached out to Tisha or even Kimmy for that matter and said, girl, what is going on with this baby shower? I mean, with this bridal shower. I'm trying to be there. At the end of the day, Melody, you dealing with what you're dealing with your husband. You're distracted. And I really think you didn't want to be there. Like I said in my review last week, when you're going through something with your marriage, the last thing you want to do is be at a bridal shower for somebody else who's happily walking into matrimony. I really think at the end of the day, that's what it boiled down to. But that's just my 2 cents. Who am I? So then they got to arguing, and honestly, both of them were being ridiculous to me. Melody was being ridiculous, but Tisha, you weren't being no angel either. You were being ridiculous too. And I don't know, like I said, somewhere in the middle lies the truth. But they got to going back and forth, and Tisha had to bring her kids because Marcel, he ain't taking care of the kids. We're gonna get to them later. But oh my goodness. I don't know why I'm yawning. Excuse me. So they got to arguing, and Scott said, "Look, we need to pray. Because they said let's start talking about the comeback group." And Tisha said, "I don't want to talk about no daggone comeback group." It was just a lot. It was a lot. So then they finally got to talking, and This is one of the things that confused me. The comeback group. I thought the purpose of the comeback group was that they were going to pull their resources and pull their talents so that they could provide the best service to the community at the cheapest price. Now, I looked at it as a philanthropic situation, meaning I didn't think they went into it to be making a profit. I could be wrong. The other thing I didn't understand was Martell was saying basically contractors get paid per square foot, and I'm going to charge $90 per square foot because that allows me to pay my workers and make a little bit of a profit. Now, you paying your workers, I get it. The making a profit part, I thought this was a philanthropic opportunity, and so y'all weren't really, I didn't know you were looking to make a profit. Two, I think that had you said to the group, look, I normally charge $150 a square foot, but for the comeback group, I'm going to charge $90 a square foot, and that's the discount that I'm offering the group. I think it may have been received a little differently. But you just threw out $90, and for people who don't know, like I don't know, I've never built a custom home. I don't know what the rate is. I don't know what the market is. And so then Scott was saying, I believe he's Maurice. I see all these M's. He was saying, well, I thought we were going to get bids from other contractors, and then we could compare and contrast and go with the cheapest bid. And Martell was like, well, you're not going to find a cheaper bid than $90 because I'm already giving y'all a discount. And they were like, well, let's just find out. And then Martell going to say, well, if you do find somebody that's cheaper than $90, you paid them to say it. Or the quality is not going to be the same. I don't understand why you would go out and find a cheaper bid. I mean, I don't understand why you would put bids out if y'all have somebody in-house who can do it, who has a reputation. The only thing I would say is that I think that Martell needed to be clearer on, I'm offering you a discount. Like, this price I'm giving you is cheaper than the going rate and what I normally charge. And I don't know. That just threw me off. I was a little confused by that whole transaction. And I felt Martell's frustration because it was just like, well, I thought, like, what was the purpose of us coming together to pool our resources? Like, if we're not going to actually use our own resources. I don't know. I just feel like that's something that just wasn't clear to me. It just kind of threw me off a little bit. So then we see a scene where the fellas at the cigar bar, and they just kind of chopping it up, and they talking a little bit, and they basically just keeping up with Martell and finding out, hey, what you doing? Are you still, you still trying to get out the doghouse? What kinds of things going on? What you need us to help you with, huh? Because we trying to make sure that this works. We want to make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow. And the one thing that I found to be very interesting was Melody doesn't want to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. First of all, that's a milestone. So even though they've had a little bump in the road these last year and a half, to say that you don't want any type of special celebration and to say it's because we don't have time tells me a couple of things. One, Melody is still very hurt. I don't understand. Somebody like her, I can't believe wouldn't want to celebrate a milestone like 10 years. And then to say we don't have time, either A, is just your excuse not to do it, or B, you ain't really learned your lesson. Because although I'm not going to defend Martell for having an affair, we have to look at the reasons why he felt like he had to step out. And one of the reasons was you didn't have time for him. To say you don't have time to celebrate your anniversary, Martell said the last couple of years he didn't even get nothing on the anniversary. No cards, no nothing. That's usually a man move, ain't it? Ain't it usually the man that forgets anniversaries and stuff like that? That's usually a man move. So I don't know about this, y'all. I don't know. I feel like we got two different, I don't know. I'm going to have to wait for a couple of more episodes. I feel like we got a couple of things going on that we're not necessarily seeing the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? But Melody invited the ladies over for a spa day because she wanted to apologize. She realized that things got out of hand, and she realized that maybe she was a little bit much, and she wanted to have everybody over to the house to apologize. What I found interesting, once again, was these ladies were supposed to be really, really good friends, yet they'd never been to Melody's house. Now, I don't know if they just moved into the house or not, but they'd never been to this woman's house. That's their friend, though. It's interesting. So they're having the spa day, and they take this as an opportunity to try to talk to Melody and say, basically, you've changed. Since we met, you've changed. Well, you know what? Again, this part confused me a little bit. You know how you in an argument with somebody and you telling them certain things and they say, well, give me an example, and you cannot think of a good example in that moment? I think that's what happened. They were trying to say that Melody has gotten bougie. That when they first met, she was one way, but now she's all about networking and schmoozing and trying to connect with the right people. And she's just bougie now, and they don't really want to mess with her. And they gave some example of when they went on an anniversary trip for Marcel and Tisha. They went to Mexico, and how Melody was complaining about being in the pictures or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a really good example. And Melody said the same thing. She was like, so wait a minute, first of all, how many years ago was that? And so you saying that I changed because of something that somebody else told you that I did, that you never came to me to ask me about or talk to me about. And that's what you're saying changed our relationship? And Melody got really upset. I mean, to the point where she started crying. Now, first of all, I didn't think that those were good examples. I do think that their point is valid, that maybe Melody has changed over the last few years and not for the better. I just think that the examples they gave didn't necessarily prove their point, because I didn't get it. I would have been the same thing with Melody. I'd have been like, this ain't making no sense to me. Like, I don't understand. And Melody, shoot, she damn near put them out of her house. She told them she was ready for them to leave. And Tisha said, no, we're not going to leave. We're going to resolve this. We're not leaving. We're going to resolve this. And they did talk, and they hugged it out and all that good stuff. I don't think they came to any type of real resolution, because like I said, I don't understand what the hell they were trying to say to begin with. It didn't make sense to me. What they were saying just didn't make sense to me. That doesn't mean they didn't have a valid point. I just think in that moment, they just couldn't come up with a really, really good reason. What Melody should have done, honestly, Melody should have told them, because they would get, this whole time was going on, they were getting massages. She should have released the masseuses. Is that a word? Masseuses. The people who were giving them the massages. She should have said, thank you for coming. Here's your tip. Here's your pay. And we appreciate your time. And she should have said, with the three of them, those her girlfriends, she should have let them know what was going on and said, look, I am really processing. And if I'm acting a certain kind of way, or if things are going a certain kind of way, I apologize, but this is what's going on in my life. But she's so busy trying to keep up this facade that everything is perfect with her and Martell, that she can't even be real with her girlfriends. And they're trying to tell her, we see that you're in pain. We see that something is going on. But they giving all these bullshit examples because they don't really want to come right out and be like, girl, we done heard on the streets that your man cheated on you. What's good? They're waiting for her to tell them, and she ain't going to tell them. That's what that was all about. I think when Tisha was using that example, she was trying to go back to the point where the rumors started about her husband cheating on her. It wasn't about that damn trip to Mexico. It was about, that was around the time that the rumors started. You see what I'm saying? And they were trying to give her an opening to say, well, look, this is what's going on, or this is what was happening in my life, and this is why I might have been acting the way I was acting, or why things went down the way they went down. That's what that thing boiled down to. But anyway, they hugged it out, but y'all know that ain't over, because it didn't even make no sense. So then we see Miss Tisha. Tisha is making lunch. She said it's summertime, and she got all three of the kids at home. This one I don't understand. I know you a stay-at-home mom, and like I said, we're going to get to that whole thing in a minute. Y'all don't have no summer camp in Hunstville? Because I know my mama had me in summer camp from... If I was old enough to go to school, I was old enough to go to summer camp. And my mama found I went to so many damn summer camps. I would have went to away camp. I went to day camp. I went to Girl Scout camp. I went to horse camp, horse riding camp. I went to the police camp. The police in DC, they sponsored a camp. I went to their camp. I went to this camp up in Pennsylvania, Mountain Lake camp. I done did some camps. And I mean, I feel like it was from the day school started to the day we went back to school. I might have had a couple of days that and in those days I was with my grandmama or my godmother. I don't remember having no free time in the summer. And my mama worked, so maybe that's the difference. But I was like, Lord have mercy, this woman is running ragged. Why you ain't got no baby? Why you got no daycare? Anyway. So Melody called to invite her to a networking event. She agreed to go. Now, this is what I'm mad at you for, Miss Tisha. You are forcing me to defend Marcel. And I really hope I'm saying this man's name right before somebody be trying to correct me again. Because you were wrong in how you approached that situation. You were right for wanting to go to that networking event. And you were right for feeling like, hey, that's their father just like I'm their mother. And he can watch the kids just like I can watch the kids. First of all, one thing my mama told me is that a man never babysits his kids. Those are his children. You don't babysit. And my mother, she always respected my father's time, but she ain't never asked for permission. You know, she was like, look, I'm going out with so-and-so. Are you going to be home? Oh, okay, cool. And I feel like you know your husband. Now, my father was cool. I mean, they had that was their situation. But you know Marcel. You know that's not how he rolled. So for you to just tell him, yeah, I need you to watch the kids today because I'm going to an event with Melody. Yeah, she just called me just now. It's a last minute situation. When first of all, you had 24 hours notice and you knew the day before. You should have sat down with your husband and had a conversation with him and told him, look, this event is going on. I want to go. I know tomorrow's your day off. I need you to stay at home with the kids while I go to this event. And if you don't feel like you're comfortable enough to have that conversation with your husband, then y'all got bigger problems than that event, which we already know they do. So, of course, he's blindsided and he got a problem with it. So he already got an attitude off the break. Now, let me say now that's the last thing I'm going to say defending Marcel. Because Marcel, you male chauvinistic asshole. Let me tell you something. And you might be a really nice guy. But when it comes to your marriage situation, no, that's a lie. I got one more thing I'm going to defend him on. And I don't like defending him. But I do have something else I'm going to defend him on. For you, first of all, when your son came to you and said he wanted breakfast, and you talking about something, you a big boy, you can go, but that boy ain't old enough to be, he said he don't even know how to work the oven. So if he don't even know how to work the oven, that probably means he ain't old enough to be working the oven. Second of all, how do you not know your child has a peanut allergy? I mean, I don't know how much of that scene was played up for the purposes of TV and how much of it was real, but let's assume for a minute it was real. You didn't know your child had a peanut allergy? That's beyond. See, what they got going on is beyond Tisha being a house mother. A homemaker. I have friends who are homemakers. I have friends who have chosen to stay home with their children while their husband works for whatever their reasons are. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But trust and believe the fathers are still active in those kids' lives. You treat her. And you even said that to Melody. You said, no, she has children. I'm just, what did he say? I'm just here or something like that. You don't feel like you have to be a father. And in the long run, it's going to hurt you because those kids are not going to want to fuck with you when they get older. And that's going to be the biggest tragedy in this whole situation. Because at the end of the day, Tisha going to be all right. She going to make a decision one way or the other. Either she going to continue to live her life like that or she going to make other decisions. She got a college degree. She has other options. She got her realtor's license now. She's going to network and meet some people. So you can mess around and she make a decision to leave you if she wants to. But that's not even going to be the tragedy in this. The tragedy is that you didn't take the time to get to know your children and you didn't play an active role in raising your kids, and they're going to resent you for that. So this is not even so much about the male chauvinist piece of this. This is about you with your kids. You better get it together. Now, with that being said, let's get back to this. The event was nice. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. She comes home from the event and she basically lets him know, I want more. I want more. Now, the one thing he said was, we made a 5-year plan. We said that you would stay home until the baby girl was 5. The baby girl is 3. So you're trying to dip out of the deal early. So from that aspect, okay, Marcel, you have a point. Y'all made an agreement that she would stay home. So I thought that he wanted her to stay home till them kids was going to college. But no, it sounds like it was for 5 years. Now, she's restless. She's restless. And right now she does. See, this is how, and again, I don't want to go too far in the left field. But see, this is how people get into depression. This is how people start feeling. You know what I'm saying? She is restless. She is feeling unfulfilled. She is feeling like she is not living up to her potential. So I get it that y'all came up with a 5-year plan. But as her husband, if you love this woman, then you need to understand what she's telling you. She is screaming to you that she needs more. And it's not selfish. It's not disrespectful. It's not violating her responsibilities as a mom. It's none of those things. It's just point blank, I love my kids. I do. But I need more for me. And he needs to hear her, and he's not hearing her. He is not hearing her. And she's telling him that these are non-negotiables. I feel like she's putting some lines in the sand now. I don't know to what extent that line, how solid that line is, but she's putting lines in the sand. And honey, it's not good. It's not good. It was a great episode, but I'm really nervous and worried about where this is going with Miss Tisha and Martell, because I think she really is serious about doing more for her life. So we will see where it goes. But once again, it was a great episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.